Hi guys, welcome to the messy kitchen, you guys. So if you're new to my channel, you think you've come to an acrylic pouring tutorial and you're looking at a bunch of starfish and you're wondering what the heck is going on. So because so many people have asked about my clay flowers, my clay sculptures, I'm going to do a quick little video. So I have to tell you right from the very beginning, you guys, I am not the person to be asking about clay. This is my second clay sculpture. My first one was the flowers that I had posted and showed you my flowers. Two different types of clay. So like everything I do, I kind of jump in with both feet forward, and I am the mistress of making things difficult and challenging for myself. And instead of doing the research first, I just jump in with that. Oh, how hard can it be? Well, I found out really quickly. So my first ocean themed piece, which was intended to go on the blue pour in the video before this. First of all, I made it way too complicated and it's much too busy to put on the pour. So I've kind of scrapped that idea. Second of all, I just built it all and stuck it all to itself and I let it dry and it looked wonderful. And then when I went to move it, the whole bloody thing fell apart. So last night I spent a little bit of time doing some homework, which is what I should have done in the first place. Only to find that this type of clay, which is a natural clay, has to all be scored, and then it basically gets glued together with a product called slip, which is nothing more than clay and water. It was a labor of love and it was really time consuming. This little piece took me probably 3 hours by the time I sculpted it all, arranged it, took it all apart, scored all the backs, put the glue on, stuck it back together, and then I left it to dry. And the other thing I didn't know, another tip, I left it in my kitchen where it was fairly warm and it cracked. So last night, this piece I covered with a damp towel and put in my spare room. So this is my first or second ocean theme piece. My plan now has gone off on a different direction. Because the piece itself is very textural and quite complex, I decided that I think I'm either going to put it on one of these boards or I'm going to go to the beach and find a nice piece of driftwood and maybe burn it all and varnish it. And then I'm just going to do these in kind of a wash maybe of color. I don't want to paint them solid. I might dry brush them. I'm not sure. So this is actually hard clay from the craft store. Really super fun to work with. And I could easily see me kind of drifting off in a different direction. Ha ha, no pun in words, drifting off things from the ocean. I didn't even mean to do that. I'm pretty funny. Okay, so my next clay is a homemade clay. It's called cold white porcelain clay. It's super easy to make. It's incredibly strong. That's it. Very strong. So I have done some more ocean themed pieces with this. With no direction in mind. I was just kind of playing with pieces. And you guys saw my flowers, my dogwood flowers that I did for my mom. They were super easy to do. Super easy. So here is my next creation. So these were similar to the flowers that I had done for my mom on Mother's Day. They kind of represented BC dogwoods. And so because my acrylic painting skills aren't that great, I ended up dry brushing them. So these are very textural because I built them on my breadboard. So they have kind of a bumpy surface. So dry brushing was a really nice way to add colorant to these. And dry brushing is exactly as it sounds. You dip your brush in the acrylic paint just a little bit, wipe it off on a paper towel, and you just kind of really gently go over it. So I did my dogwood flowers in golden ochre, and then I just dry brushed all the edges in kind of a quinacridone and a brown, and my centers were brown, and they ended up coming out looking like almost like vintage suede. They were really cool. But last night, because I like to push all the boundaries and see what I can do, I added paint. So these ones are 1 night old. They're starting to dry. They are still a tiny bit wet. You can see that. But all I did was add paint. So it kind of got my head going and thinking. So I think the next piece that I design on one of these boards, I'm going to add my colorant first, and then my painting will be basically completely colored. So when I work on these boards like this is a cheapie $4 one from the Dollarama here in Canada. I actually build the piece right on the board because you can bend all of your leaves, like you can let them overlap, and you kind of get an idea of what your finished piece will look like when it's done. So the beauty of this clay for me is that you can actually stick it onto the board, 2-part epoxy. So it kind of leaves you a little more room for error. And that's a bonus. The clay didn't leave any room for error. It was more fun for textural type things, which is, I'm into really fine details. The hard clay from the craft store was easier to get texture. This is so much easier to work with, and this is super cheap and so easy to make, guys. This is homemade clay. I'll write the recipe in the description box, but basically it's nothing more than cornstarch, white glue, either lemon juice or vinegar. I used vinegar, and any kind of veggie oil. I used avocado oil, and that's it. So you fire it all in a microwave safe bowl, mix it all up, you put it in. I put it on high for 15 seconds, take it out, mix it. You keep doing that up to 2 minutes. It will get incredibly thick and sticky and chunky, and you'll think, oh, you'll never ever get the lumps out. You do. So when it's cool enough to handle, cover your hands well with hand cream. I use Orchard and Vine, strawberry mint, or bergamot because it smells nice, and that's what I had. So cover your hands and knead it really, really well. Once you have it kneaded and it's a firm plastic, it looks like this. When you pull it apart, it will make a teardrop shape. Put it on a piece of plastic wrap, cover the plastic wrap with lotion as well, and put it in your fridge and let it sit for 24 hours, and then you can work it. So because it's an air dry clay, it dries out quite quickly. So you don't have to work fast. It stays pliable for a really long time, but just take out what you need and then put the rest away. So here's a few of the things that I have made. This is my ocean theme. I have an idea. I have a kind of a wire vase. Obviously can't put water in it. It's all made of wire. And I think I'm actually going to sculpt an entire ocean scene around it. And then I'm just going to paint it all flat black. But it's going to be considerably chunkier than this. So pretty simple. These were just balls, spirals, and a few starfish. Easy peasy. And I told you guys in a video I made an octopus. I broke him. Yep, I dropped him. So these are roses, as you can see. And all the flowers, these were actually the easiest to make, the roses. So I did a sculpture for my daughter for Mother's Day. And I used roses for the lady's head. And she's holding her baby. And I used a rose for the baby's head. And then the body was just basically abstract. So you can see I've just been literally playing, just trying to create different shapes and textures and different styles of flowers. All super, super simple. Well, then I get more and more complex as I go. This one and these ones. So these are all pretty easy. Pretty easy. So because so many people have asked, let's just do a super quick run through and we'll make a rose. So here's my dough. It's very soft. It's very nice to work with. It's not messy. I actually gave a big glob to my granddaughter, and she, at 21 months, she just messed it all up. So my basic center for my rose is just make a snake, push it out. So because this is so soft, you can really smooth it. You can add details, you can add texture. You can take a comb and make your edges all rough, kind of rough, whatever you want, and just roll it. You don't need any water. So you're just going to roll it into your rosebud center. I am pinching the bottom as I go, so it's kind of becoming like a teardrop shape. Roll it out, make sure you pinch it. You can do this on a toothpick if it's easier to hold. Petals are the same, just a ball of dough. Flatten it out. These are going to be super rough, guys. This is just a super quick tutorial on kind of what I've learned so far. So this one you're starting slightly above your bud because your bud always sits in the middle. I do 2 petals around to begin with. So one that way. I should have actually had these balls all rolled so you guys didn't have to watch me roll balls of dough, but I didn't. So like I said, this is totally new for me, but I can see myself kind of slipping into some more clay work. I really like anything to do with my hands. So, you know, as you go, you can just kind of work your little rose petals. You can pinch them if you want to create a different look. Pull them out. You can sit it down. It stays dry. It stays moist and pliable for like a really, really long time. And if it does start drying out, cover your hands with hand cream and just rub it right in. This dough smells amazing. Keep it thin. I try to keep my edges thin. Same way. So this time I'm wrapping on the opposite side of the one that I just wrapped. My edges a little thinner than that. Same level. And just roll the bottom so that it stays pinched together. You can pull your excess off. Use that to create your next petal. This is really hard to see and I'm rapidly losing light. My daughter prefers to hold a toothpick, but then my daughter took cake decorating in high school, and so she has all the skills from cake decorating. So she's really used to working on like a cake decorating tool. I find it was just as easy for me to hold it by hand. So that would be it for your rose. You can just keep going around it. You can make it incredibly detailed and soft and pretty. And then depending on what you're doing it with, it depends on how you end it. I kind of tried to envision mine on a board sitting like that. So that's exactly what I did. I just kind of pinched off the bottom and then I built my leaves around it. So there's our rose. Easy peasy, you guys. The little hyacinth flowers, these ones in green, I'm not going to build one. You guys can see exactly what I did. Just a little roll of balls, smaller than a pea, flattened them out. I actually squished these ones with a metal pot scraper just to give them some texture. Leaves, just make some strips. So these flowers, very similar process. Ball of dough. I really, really like my breadboard because I do like the texture. These ones I tried to kind of already shape into a bit of a tear shape. It doesn't matter, you guys. It's so versatile. You can go back. So for these ridges here, I folded it in half without touching the back side. And then a little tweak and a little tweak there. And that would be our first petal. So I made 5. I don't know that I'm going to make all 5 tonight because this is just a super, super quickie video. And then I really, really want to paint. Same thing, flatten your edges out. Fold in the center. Fold back up. So, you know, flowers are organic. Like they don't have to be even, but you can see, let's just pretend that's a whole flower for the sake of this video. You would go all the way around Obviously, I made this double. Your centers can be whatever you want. One ball, that's a little bit big, but let's pretend it's not. Press it down. My tools are basic, you guys. I don't have any fancy clay tools. I don't have any molds. Toothpick. So with these ones, I tried to kind of squish my flour in, and obviously I put little balls around them before. So if you want to go back and just reshape, you can go in and yeah, you can just keep reshaping these until you get like really, really pretty looks. If you want it up like that, it'll stay like that. Like it's so versatile, and it really is quite amazing to work with, and it's super, super cheap to make. So that was how we made our dogwood type flower. And you know what? The sky's the limit. I'm a newbie. So I'm just playing different flowers, different floral shapes, leaves, petals, the same kind of thing. Last night I used a toothpick to draw my pattern, but you don't have to. You can roll it out. You can cut it. I can cut it with an X-Acto knife, but you really can just kind of sculpt it all out with your hand. Same kind of thing. You can pinch it, squish it together. You can roll up the tip of it. Yeah, that's it, my friends. That's really, the sky's the limit. Just use your imagination. Think outside of the box. Built on a toothpick. You know what? If you have some mad painting skills, you could just build some absolutely beautiful, beautiful things. Oh, I built a mouse for my granddaughter, but then she dropped it and knocked the tail off of it, which was Grandma's fault because, yeah, little curly cues. So this type of clay, my plan is actually to glue my pieces together. So you can, you know, you can sit and do this watching TV. Like this is not messy like the hard clay, like the concrete style clay. This stuff is really soft. It's like working with plasticine. So it's always an adventure with me, you guys. You should have been here last year. Last year I made concrete planters for outside with bath towels and cement, and I made about 6 of them. The year before I made them for my daughter's wedding, not bridal, baby shower, and they were absolutely gorgeous, and they sold. I could have sold them all, and I made some for my mom too. All right, my friends, that was just a super, super quick tutorial on working with clay, which, like I said, I'm not a good one to ask, and I'm probably doing a million things wrong. So every clay artist out there is probably cringing. But I'm okay with that. I am learning right along with you, and I'm willing to take risks, and I'm willing to do it one day, and then I'm willing to do it again the other day the correct way. So that is it. I'm going to love you and leave you there. I'm going to put my dough away for today, and we're going to paint. We're going to paint next video. All right, guys, pour happy, stay safe, sculpt away, you guys. Go for it. Super fun. All right, my friends, bye for now.